What it do, what it do, what it do, fight fans? What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? Lovely day, Sunday, the day of rest. Well, fight fans, we got a big one for you here today. Tune in, lock in. Where the wall fights start.
Round 1.
All right, and you know I am always your host, Edwin. So let's talk about it. We're going to get right into this episode. We're going to jump off. We're going to waste no more time. I got a lot to talk about. Breakdowns on all these fights. Salute, brother. Thank you for joining us. We throw you up here. I got a lot to talk about what occurred last night, and I have some things to report. So let's get right into the fights, I guess. And then I'm going to report on MJ's fight, Naoya Inoue, Bam Bam Rodriguez. They wrote an article about him. I'm going to read the article off. So stay with me. We're going to hop around. We're going to cover a lot. So here at Round 1 Sports Talk, we talk about boxing news and what this means for a lot of these situations too, in fact, right? Okay. Has Caleb Plant turned into a gatekeeper? That's a question that a lot of us are going to have to ask ourselves. Has he fallen down to being that guy to potentially compete for a world title? Has that where this is another, in my last live stream, I put it in the title when I was covering the fight, and I said, who wins or upset? I felt there was going to be an upset tonight. Felt like there was going to be an upset. And I'm what do I know? I said the upset was going to come from Caleb Plant's fight. Because I thought Resendiz was really underlooked. He was fairly terribly unknown. And those are the kind of guys that can give you a lot of trouble, especially when Resendiz and Caleb Plant sparred and trained together. They were familiar with each other. Resendiz knew Caleb Plant pretty well. He knew that he was going to weather the storm and that Caleb was going to fade. I was talking about this with the guys on the live stream, and I was saying I thought that, that Caleb Plant might be one of those guys where he thinks he gets on a treadmill inside the gym and he runs 5-6 miles and he think he jogged. And it's not the same thing. If what Caleb Plant, he looks the part, he can fight everything. It's just that his cardio is not sustaining. And it's pretty much been his MO, fight by fight, and, even in the Trevor McCumbee fight, when Caleb Plant was put down in the fight, he came back, we saw how that turned out. But there was concerns, even in those kind of matchups. When he fought David the Monster Benavidez, he was doing well in the first half of the fight, even though David the Monster Benavidez had the more volume of punches. Caleb Plant started to fade. He could no longer, as we say in spades, cut and pull. He had to choose whether he shelled up in a defense and try to block David the Monster Benavidez's punches, or try some offense. But when he tried the offense, he wasn't he didn't have the energy to block. He couldn't do both at some point in the fight. Then in the Resendiz fight, Caleb Plant was going backwards. Resendiz was showing that he was going forward. He had a lot of forward pressure. He got in that high guard, and Caleb Plant, was it me? Oh, Resendiz looks fresh as fuck, boy. I come in, like, after the fourth, like, he didn't look like he would fade. And I saw that. I said, this is going to be where Resendiz is going to drag Caleb Plant into deep waters and he's going to drown him. There was moments in the fight, Resendiz caught him big. I seen Caleb Plant wobbled. I seen him holding on for dear life. Resendiz was going to work, and one time he was just flaring, hooking off on him. Boom, boom, right in the, yo. And as the fight was going on, I can see Caleb, Jamal Charlo's face in the back room as the money was going out the window. I know he was sitting there like this and watching all the millions just go out. But you see, in the Caleb Plant and Charlo situation, there's still a spark there. It's not like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia's situation. You know why? Caleb Plant smacked the shit out of that man. And as a man, I really don't care. Caleb Plant lost that fight. We need to fight. And the Charlo twin needs to do what the monster couldn't do and what Resendiz couldn't do. But what Saul did is knock Caleb Plant out. But like knock him out. Not like have him like you saw how he like fell with Saul. It was more it was accumulation of the beating and fatigue. It's a little both. But if the Charlo twin can knock Caleb Plant out, like straight hook, boom, like when he knocked Caleb Plant knocked out Darrell, like that, knock him out like that, and now we talking. Now, for as far as the Charlo twins' performance versus Cornflake LaManna here, right? Check this out, guys. A lot of guys got all over fucking the Charlo twin, right? Like, oh, now Cornflake, you know, he wasn't that dude. But what are you guys talking about? We knew that going into the fight. We know what the hell this fight is. It's a tune-up fight. It's a tune-up fight. Yeah, and they're not even giving Charlo twin credit for nothing. Let's just remember he's in a new weight division. They're like, oh, he looks sluggish. Bro, he's acclimating to the division. You guys just quickly start forgetting everything that took place with this man. Wasn't he going through some issues? We knew that this was a tune-up. What the hell this fight was, bro? Thank God the man didn't do what Caleb Plant did. What if fucking Cornflake here would have knocked out freaking Charlo? Now you know what I'm saying? Give the man credit for what the fight was. You knew what this fight was. And if you look at the fight for what it was, did he do good? He looked pretty good to me. Looks like he still knows how to box and fight. The stoppage that everybody on social media seems to be questioning. Oh, LaManna looks like he was still in the fight. But go watch my live. How I clowned him in the live. LaManna looks up, yells up, oh, they stopped the fight. Bro, you was getting broke. It wasn't really so much the look at the time in LaManna. It was that the referee, the corner, everybody was doing the math. LaManna, you wasn't throwing no conviction. And I called it in my live stream. I said it. I called exactly what LaManna was gonna do. I should go clip that, put it in a short or something, right? I wish I was mad nice with editing because I'd be editing all my videos, but I suck, right? I try to do my best, but I told the world. Once the Charlo twins started to like pick them apart, in the first 2 rounds, I told you LaManna was shook. He was shook, right? He had nothing for him. What he was gonna do next was try to will himself back into the fight. And in order to do that, he was going to take big chances. He was going to jump in, lunge in like that. And the Charlo twin, he needed to like time him. Rather than going back from the attack or quickly going into a block, just calm, let him lunge, check hook, boom. He might hit you with his shot a little, right? But I'll take that for that powerful check hook, because once you connect to his jaw, you're going to take his power away. It's going to hit you. You're going to boom, but it's not going to be nothing like you're going to take that power away from him. So, I was saying that that's all LaManna was going to have. That's all the Charlo twin broke him down to. He made him desperate. He made LaManna question what to do in there. LaManna looked lost at times, and the Charlo twin looked composed. The only thing is he wasn't in boxing fight night shape. You can clearly see that where his timing and, trying to place the punch, his accuracy was off a little. He was landing shots, but his timing was off. You can see it for fight night. He probably was in shape for sparring. The Charlo twin, yes, he was in shape for sparring. He looked like he did what he needed to do for the fight. He didn't look fatigued, none of that shit. It was just fight night speed. He wasn't all the way there yet. That's all. He just needed, that's called what? Acclimating to a new weight division, acclimating to the new weight, coming back off 18 months, ring rust. These are all things we knew going into this fight. We had no information on this new version of the Charlo twin. I was real happy to see his brother in the ring. They said some things inside of the ring and stuff, and I'm not gonna hold them to anything. I know in life you can have the biggest will in the world to want to get out of bed and get shit done today. But your body, you have to understand, you're fighting against what they call core beliefs inside of you. And whether you're conscious of them or not, the human body and what you've done throughout your life is going to want to make you comfortable. You never want to read that book or do that live or look up stuff, because your body is going to say, no, that's not what we do. We play video games. We want to smoke weed, this, that, and third. And every day you got to counteract that thought. Can't just do it one day, because tomorrow you just go right back to where you were. So that's a mental thing, to prepare yourself for these kind of, situations, and learn how to motivate yourself. Not to forget every time you get those thoughts, don't go that extra mile. Don't train that extra mile. I'm done. I'm tired today. Catch that and go, oh, there you are. Now I gotta, that moment that I broke in the fight, I gotta change that with, let's go. Let's go. Oh, that's all you got? I want more. Let's go. Learn how to overcome your fears. And recognize when your own body and your own mind is betraying you. It's betraying you because it's actually trying to protect you. But you gotta learn how to and if you don't know that and you don't know how to recognize that, every day you're just gonna wake up, have the biggest will in the world, and just fall back in bed in the covers. Or not get done what you needed to get done. And fighters, right? It's a mental thing too for fighters. You think we like getting up, fucking putting on that backpack, walking, driving to the gym and taking punches to the face early in the afternoon. Bro, those punches fucking hurt. That's something I keep fresh in my head. Every time I get antsy, I'll be like, yeah, I got another one. Remember the training, bro. It takes a lot, to be mentally prepared. So, that's why I love all fighters. I don't like any boxer. I don't like any of them. I love them all. I love them all because I respect the game. I respect the game, bro. This is something you don't play, bro. Go in there and play boxing if you want to. You're going to get hurt, man. You need to protect yourself. You need to embrace boxing, and you need to embrace and keep the worry of being hurt very real. And to avoid from being hurt in that ring or knocked out, you better counteract that with hard work and dedication. If you don't want to experience this, then work hard. Work hard. Hard work, dedication will never let you down. And even in a loss, it may seem like even if you suffer a loss, it might seem bad, but that loss, shit. What if in your very next fight, the world champion's opponent pulls out? They give you a phone call thinking you sweet. You go in there and shock the world after your loss. Isa Pitbull Cruz. Rolly Romero. In losses, got title fights. Sometimes things can look bad in life. Could be a blessing in disguise. Am I right? So the Charlo twin, I really think he has a lot of, work to do. I could see that he wants to be this, but I know how easy it is to fall back into old bad behaviors. I know how easy it is to say, fuck it. It's easy to fail or to be a bad guy or a bully. It's easy. It's hard to obey and play by the rules. It's hard. Sometimes you got to go against things you don't like. Sometimes you got to make sacrifices that don't make sense to you. But you need to keep your eye on the bigger picture. And I hope that the Charlo twin has the right people in his corner for on the days where he's not mentally strong, he can grab strength off of them. That's all the advice I can give to him. The rest is on him to learn and figure out. This shit called life, I wasn't born with a manual. I didn't, oh, this is what you do. This is what you believe in. This is what you, nah. Just last night, I was on a live, right? And foolishly, I try to make a reference about a scripture in the Bible or whatever with Job and whatever. And I thought that by saying that his thing was a lesson or a story, because I don't want to offend anybody that doesn't believe in it or push my views on anyone. So I try to and the dude, no, that was a real story. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh no. Right. Because I'm not the type of person that wants to push my beliefs onto a person. That's why I do not discuss religion or politics on this channel. I will not do that. You have the right to your beliefs and your political beliefs. That's you. I don't cross those lines. I don't. So forgive me for anyone if last night because that's not what I am about. I'm just about the boxing, the sport, and I thought I wanted to bring that up and just clear a little bit of things like that, because people take religion very seriously, and I'm not playing around with anybody's religion or saying anything or I have a funny joke sometimes I say in a religious conversation just to break the ice sometimes, when they're talking about what religion, God, or Jesus is. And I humorously say, come on, guys, you guys all know that Jesus is Puerto Rican, right? I was like, just look at him, hair down, tan and shit. And he was like, why you think he's Puerto Rican? I was like, his name is Jesus. His name is Jesus. That is more Puerto Rican than anything. I get a kick out of that, right? And I laugh. That's a humorous joke. Of course, he's not, okay? But that's about as far as I go. Right there. You know? Anyway, I just wanted to, break the ice on that. Religion is pretty tough topic, topic and shit. But we have another fight that took place besides the Cole fight, bro, that he he had a rematch where he had got knocked out and stuff, and boy, that jab was lightning. I have to go back and watch that fight again. I only skimmed through the highlights, so I don't have the right to talk about the fight. But I'm gonna get back to you guys about that fight because that was a great one. But I had a lot of fights to watch today. I also looked at the Camille Moten fight. He had a little 8-round fight. Boy, that boy's getting big fast. But he looks good. He looked good. I mean, what was his name? Reedies. Rees. Yeah, 4-1. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. I'm not gonna say that. But Camille Moten looks very polished. Looks polished as a fighter. A lot of people are saying that he should be already moving up, fighting tough guy, bigger names, 8 fights. But he looks Naoya Inoue polished. You remember when Naoya Inoue had like 6, 7 fights? He's looking that kind of polished, Camille Moten right now. That kid he fought last night was tough as shit. That was he was putting the Beats by Dre on him. If you haven't seen that fight, go check that out. So I also had to watch the MJ fight, of course. I had to watch that MJ fight this morning, right? So I went back, I watched the entire fight. I ain't watching no highlights on that. I need to study MJ. I need to see what he has to offer and his opponent. I that's something I gotta, check out. So respectfully, right? I get on and I am just so sadly disappointed, bro. I really am. Right? Let's look. First, let me break this down with you guys. This is just okay. So MJ, right? He fights Luis Castillo. Luis Castillo is his name. Was that his name? Yo, I'm baffled by this. This is I'm really baffled by this because you got to understand that MJ Agmandalia has been Ed Hearn and them have been promoting him as the man that Naoya Inoue, such a decorated champion, is ducking. They're saying that the Japanese superstar is avoiding to fight MJ, which we all do know that MJ took step aside money so that Naoya Inoue could fight Roman Cardin in Las Vegas and Mexican Independent Holiday Weekend, where we saw Saul Canelo Alvarez and other Mexican fighters fight. So, okay. Here we are in another case of a hype job where that some fans were led astray. They were led astray in believing that Naoya Inoue was the hype job. In fact, the only hype job here is MJ. This is a clear case of a hype job, and we're going to start at round 1. We're going to take this case to trial. Okay. The accused of the hype job here is MJ. I'm the lawyer, and I'm going to prove to you this is the definition of a hype job. Check this out. MJ Agmandalia, he has a record of 13-10 now. As of yesterday, it was 12-10 with 1 loss. He had 2 belts, the IBF, and I think it was the, what was it? The WBA, right? Okay. He's 30 years old. 30 years old? You got 13 fights? And you're 30 years old? What? How long, much of a career are you going to have? Right? Okay. It doesn't stop there. That's not enough. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Okay. He loses his belt to Marlon Tapales, 2023, right? Since 2023, he had 2 fights leading into last night's fight, right? He fought Kevin Gonzalez, right? And then he fought Ricardo Espinoza. Now, Kevin Gonzalez, right, was ranked 88 in the world. And Ricardo Espinoza was ranked like 56 at the time. I believe that's what their ranking at the time was when I don't know what the ranking is today, but in the time when he fought them, that's what you're held by. And in those 2 fights, mysteriously, the WBA awarded him an interim belt to Naoya Inoue's undisputed status. I was like, how do you even win the interim belt when you didn't rematch Marlon Tapales? MJ didn't rematch the guy that beat him, that Naoya Inoue beat and took the 2 belts from. So you fought a guy ranked 88 and a guy ranked 56. You didn't fight anybody in the top 40, top 30, top 20, top 10 to earn that interim belt and that number 1 ranking. But wait, there's more, Your Honor. There's more to this hype job. This man is a hype job, and I'm going to prove it. Last night, he fought Leo Castillo, right? Coming into that fight, Leo Castillo last fought in 2023. He came into the fight an inactive fighter. Inactive. He wasn't even ranked. He had no ranking. Then it took you, MJ, that long to put away a guy that hasn't fought since 2023. And you want me to believe that by taking that fight, it would prepare you for such a fighter as Naoya Inoue? Why did that guy last that long? Yes, there was I think he got dropped, right? And Lewis, I think in the 4th round they didn't count it. In the 5th round he dropped him once. In the 6th round he dropped him again. He dropped him with a body shot. He dropped him with a check hook to the top, right? Then they threw in the towel. The corner, Lewis's corner threw in the towel for the stoppage. He was getting hit at the end like that. Bro, this is a 10-round fight. This ain't no 12. You didn't take a 12-round fight. And then what is concerning for me, if you guys go back and watch that fight, he hits him with a shot in the 3rd round. MJ started shaking his hand. Go back and watch the fight. He goes like this. I don't know if the glove may have got out of position and he was trying to like put it back, or did he sting his hand? You know, now what? Right? For Naoya Inoue, does MJ enter the witness protection program again? And is this another case where another fighter, where we have to have a last-minute replacement for Naoya Inoue? Because if you haven't noticed, everybody has been avoiding him, jumping out of line, smashing their heads against walls. I got a cut. Look, a boo-boo. To avoid from fighting Naoya Inoue. Most of the guys he fought should have never been there. We all know that. That's no secret. It's not like Naoya Inoue picked these guys like Caleb Plant did last night with Resendiz. That was a cherry pick gone wrong. Let's just remember that. Caleb Plant picked him. Naoya Inoue never picked Yi Young Kim, fucking TJ Doheny. Never picked those guys. Those were last minute replacements to save the night because the men that were supposed to fight Naoya Inoue were cowering under the bed. Please don't make me go out there. Mama, there goes that man again. You know, they always talk while Naoya Inoue is not around. Soon as he walk, this is MJ. Sam Goodman's behind him. And David Allen Picasso's behind him. Is Naoya Inoue still out there? Shh, he might fucking hear you. Shh, 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 shh. Let him walk by. They don't want that smoke. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop playing with me. They don't want that shit. Mr. Miyagi! Hit him with the pace. Yo. Salute, brother. Was the WB yeah, I think it was on the line, that cheap ass belt in the MJ fight, right? Yeah, you're right. You don't know why it was a 10-8 fight. Mr. Miyagi says, salute round one. Was the WBA interim not on the line that fight? Don't know why it was a 10-round fight, right? Okay. Interesting. Maybe it wasn't. Fucking WBA be doing all kinds of shit, right? Maybe the WBA didn't sanction off on the fight because Lewis was an inactive fighter. So since the belt wasn't going to be on the line, he said, fuck it. Why do 12 rounds? I'll just do 10. That type shit. When I saw the fight this morning, of course, when I watch the fights, when I go back and look, I start right when they're going to come out the corner in round one. I didn't hear, and you know I watched the fight with no volume, so I didn't hear if the belt was on the line. I didn't see them jumping in the corner, announcing their record. I didn't need to see any of that. I just go right to the moment when the first bell's going to ring. Boop! That's where I watched the fight from. So now you got me thinking. And if it was a 10-round fight, all title fights must be 12 rounds, right? I'm not sure how they do that interim shit anymore. I really don't pay attention to it because those belts, man. Listen, I don't knock anybody interim belt. If I want a interim world title, I'd be like fucking. That'd be like the best belt in the world for me. It's a great accomplishment, bro. I don't mean to like downplay it, but I got to keep the real belts prestigious, guys. So I'm not taking shot at interim belt holders. No, that is fucking amazing. That is amazing. This is my way of keeping the real belts prestigious. They gotta mean something. It's the real one or you don't got it. Right? So, wow, yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up, Mr. Miyagi. Thank you very much. And I don't think it was on the line. I don't think so. Come to think about the steps, the process, maybe the WBA didn't sign off on an inactive fighter giving a shot at the interim belt. But he still wanted to work. MJ, I guess. Now, whether you wanted rounds or not, you could have gotten rounds in, just like Camille Moulton just did, but made it look better, impressive. You know, that guy right there, for all his efforts, Luis Castillo, that's no Naoya Inoue. Not even close. Why do these guys take these kind of fights and to go in such a big opponent? You know, you should have chose somebody a lot. Or fight Marlon Tapales, bro. Or some of the top guys, so that it can really give you that, you know, that, you know what I mean? Like, Monitor Powder is just gonna get brutalized, guys. He's gonna get brutalized. Naoya anyway is gonna knock him out. You know, Julio, what up, baby? Yo, listen, I don't, shit. I don't see MJ being any threat at all. I know that Naoya Inoue is under heavy scrutiny by some of the haters in the boxing world, right? Because just because he's in a fight and he's in there taking chances and he positioned himself and the Roman Cardin fight, got a little greedy, paid the price. Took a big shot. He took a big shot and got up and responded well. What can I say? You're in a fight. I know a lot of champions in the world that either got knocked out or put down and still were Hall of Famers, legends, if not considered among the GOATs of boxing. Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't know. Am I the only one that sees this? But if I'm not mistaken, the biggest GOAT in all of boxing has been knocked out and defeated, knocked down. Okay? And lost. The biggest GOAT. So Naoya Inoue goes down. What does that mean? If the biggest GOATs have gone down, why? They might just be in a fight, right? So don't try to diminish what Naoya Inoue has accomplished by merely doing his job. In there, straight mixing it up. No step backwards. Nah, we ain't going backwards, bro. We going forward. And that right there in itself, the WBC is a corrupt organization. I understand that. I think at this point we all know that there is no I would say not corrupt organization. No. I take that back. I'm just messing around, guys. I'm messing around, right? You know, it is what it is. Boxing, there's no secret. It's the Wild Wild West, and it's improving. It's improving. You know, it's come a long way. They're trying out new things. So let's see where things end up with these organizations. And the organizations are starting to realize that you can't just say or do things in boxing anymore. The fans, us, are starting to hold them accountable for their bullshit. How the fuck did this guy get up to this ranking? How did he get this belt? What are you guys doing? You know why? Because of like the Manny Pacquiaos of the world. You don't know how many millions and millions of people believe Manny Pacquiao is an 8th division world champion. They will go to their grave fighting Manny Pacquiao is an 8th division world champion. It's because of that. You can't, you won't be able to do that in boxing no more. You can do it in boxing, bro, because they try to confuse you with all these belts and titles. Titles, not championships. Titles. There's a difference. It's like, read the fine print. That's how they try to get this money out of all these kids for these interim and regular belts, got them paying fees in their ranking system. It's all part of the game. But if that's where you want to be at the top, you got to play by the game. You know, you can't go in Monopoly and being like, I rolled the dice. Yeah, well, you know what? I only want to go 4 steps because that's where the money's at. But I rolled a 10. But I'm only going to go 4 steps. Why? Because I'm changing the game. Nah, you got to play the game the way it's meant. And if you play the game the way it's meant, you know, that's when you'll win. You'll notice things. You'll play. You'll navigate your way through it. You know, so look, Boxing is getting tighter because the community is getting smarter. We're all becoming awakened and aware of all these things. We're not just letting Max Callahan go on ESPN because ESPN is the leader in worldwide sports. And if Max Callahan made a fucking a series on how Manny Pacquiao is an 8th division world champion and probably the greatest fighter of all time, if he did that, then it has to be real. It has to be. That's ESPN, the worldwide leading in sports. How the hell are they lying? Right? That's what you would think. It's because of us, these YouTube creators, content creators, that we did our due diligence, did our homework, and we followed the story. We went into the archives looking at the belt, the divisions, and the truth was right there. I did videos on it, other guys, and there are millions of people that will not take the truth. Sometimes in life, let me tell you, just because the truth is what it is, doesn't mean everybody accepts it. You know those people. You ever see like those movies where like the rich, eccentric billionaire, he finds like fucking, you know, the thing of life. And it tells him, he's like the whole time saying like, once I find this thing, we're gonna find out the truth that our people were the people that rightfully so need to lead. And then they find it, and he's like, your people are the enemy, and these people need to be leading. You think he's gonna tell the truth? Destroy that, bury it, fucking arrest them. You know what I mean? Sometimes people would rather live with the lie. The truth is harsh sometimes. Sometimes when you're confronted by it, you might feel a little silly because of remembering all the times you argued about it. You might feel a certain way and you're not ready to confront the truth. You would rather be like, nope. You would rather change the history books than not to say he's an 8th division world champion. Because if you give him credit for those belts, you would have to do it for everybody else. Truthfully, Hector Camacho would be a 7th division world champion. Hector Camacho has 7 weight divisions, but he has 4 minor belts in 4 weight divisions, and he has 3 major belts in 3 weight divisions. That's why. Why do you think Hector Camacho is only revered for 3 divisions? So they won't give Hector Camacho credit for his 7, but they're giving Manny Pacquiao credit for his 8. If you give every boxer credit for those little belts, I guarantee you there's going to be a 13, 10 division world champion out there. You're going to have to change the history books just to keep that lie going. In the NBA, if they were to wake up tomorrow and say, LeBron James, he got 8 rings, he beat Michael, the fucking internet will crash. You can't do that in the NBA. Those fans are crazy. They're like fucking NBA nerds. Every stat, every day they're like, right? You can't do that in major sports. Boxing, you can. You can get Max Callahan, put him in a suit, throw him on ESPN. It's the truth. And thank God for like channels like us, because I don't want to be lied to. I don't want to be that guy in that barbershop or that bar passionately debating a stat that I merely heard from someone and made it truth in my head. I did no due diligence on doing research on what he said before I went. I was ready to go out because I trusted him. Max Callahan knows more about boxing. He's forgotten more about boxing than I know. And I can admit that. I can admit that. That man is well versed when it comes to boxing. I don't know about every other sport, but Max Kellingham in boxing? Bro. But I realized that he's a company man. He has to read off a prompt monitor. He's at his job. He's worked for ESPN. If ESPN is paying your salary, you better read whatever's on that monitor. Once I understood that, I was just like, he was just doing his job, bro. They told him to read off the thing, and this is what you were going to say, and this is what you're paid to say. That's what happens when you become a company man. You got to show them that you're willing to play ball. That's the harsh reality of reporting sometimes, working for some of these big networks, because even if you're well versed in the sport and it's hurting you probably to say this or report this, they pay your mortgage of your house. They pay for you to be able to provide for your family. What are you going to do? Just rebel right there? ESPN, this is bullshit. I'm not doing this. Your $1 million job? Yeah, right. You're going to read whatever's on that prompt monitor. So I get it. I get it. I get it. You know, so shouts out to Max Kellingham, never taking shots at you. I fucking respect that dude. I wish I knew all the shit he knows or been at the fights he's been, met the fighters he's met. Fuck, bro. That dude is, man. He be crazy on Brady and I'm not going into there, but he fucking destroyed it. Now it's starting to hit me what Max Kellingham fucked up at. He tried to go at the GOAT. You don't do that. You don't do that. Yeah, he got kicked off TV for that shit. Yo, I once was told a joke. Somebody on a late night TV show said it. He said to the dude, the comedian was sitting in the chair. He said, yo, have you ever gone to Boston? Because the comedian's from Boston, right? He's from Massachusetts. He tells the comedian, have you ever told a joke about Tom Brady in Boston? Or can you tell a joke about Tom Brady in Boston, you know, without everybody booing you? You know, you can't say shit about Tom Brady in Boston, right? So he says, yeah, he said, I told a joke about Tom Brady. He said, what was it? He said, I asked the audience, you know, he said he was talking to a police officer in Boston waiting to go on in the show. He was out back smoking a cigarette and the cop was there with him. He looks at the cop and he tells the cop, hey, if you saw Tom Brady walking down the street kicking a puppy, what would you do? And the cop responded, I would arrest the puppy for getting in the way of Tom Brady's foot. Yo, I was dying. I was crying. I was like, what? I was like, yo, that was slick. That was slick. That was a good answer. I was like, that's slick, right? Because, like, at once upon in time, Tom Brady was our fucking, he walked on water, bro. 6 championships. You know how many parties I've been to? You know how many boat, man, listen, that man gave us too much love. Way too much. Like, so, but yeah, man. You know. Mr. Miyagi with the 5-piece. Another matchup. Wait a minute. Wait. He got the, hold on. We got to get the, Miyagi got to get the, hold up. Let's do this right. No, give him another. Let's go with the 5-piece. Mr. Miyagi. Another match I was running with interim fights. FFS Plant was looking forward to the that fucked up. Yeah. The Charlo fight. Interesting enough, Mr. Miyagi, before you came in earlier in the live stream, I talked about this. I still think that there's a spark there for that Charlo fight still, Mr. Miyagi. He smacked the shit out of the Charlo twin. I don't really care if I was the Charlo twin at this point. That would be, you know, he's getting the name the gatekeeper. Let's just remind you guys that the Charlo twin is still acclimating to this new weight division. Caleb Plant would still be a good scalp. He would still be a good scalp. So he smacked me. He put his hands on my face. Shocking to me it's taking this long to get here, but I wouldn't turn away from that fight. I think that there's stock still here, Mr. Miyagi, right? And I think that a lot of people still want to see it. You know what I mean? So I'd want to fight him because before we start talking up the Charlo twin of fighting much tougher guys in the division, and who we think he should fight. Some people hinted around to that Diego Pacheco kid, right? And now look, you guys saw what happened with Beck the Bully. All right. I'm not sure if he won that fight, Beck the Bully, but I got to go back and watch it. Okay. They gave him the fight. So there's some strong guys, bro. There is some strong guys that, some pretty good names. I'm not, Chris and Billy, I still like the Caleb Plant fight, tell you the truth. I think that's a good fight for him next. Absolutely. Let's see what you're saying. Mountain Man, what's up? Waiting for the next Naoya Inoue fight. Yeah, of course, brother. He's gonna destroy this MJ guy. I can't wait for all the shit that these people talked online for Ed Hearn. You guys want to poke the bear? You guys want to start this narrative that Naoya Inoue somehow is avoiding and bypassing and does not want to fight you? MJ, you weren't good enough to keep your belt. And why doesn't the world remember this? The guy that beat you, Naoya Inoue, destroyed. Knocked him out. But all of a sudden, MJ's this big opposing threat. You're ducking me. Naoya Inoue, stop ducking me. Man, bro, stop with the cap, bro. Bro, for real. Listen. It's
stop the cap.
It's MJ, all of them, they're gonna get theirs, bro. If he has the balls to enter the ring. Because I don't think he does. I think he's gonna pull another stunt. I'm trying to tell y'all, remember my words, mark my words, bro. Remember, he started shaking his hand in the third. I'm just preparing you guys for the excuses. Because I think I saw MJ being escorted back into the witness protection program. And all of a sudden, September date became an inconvenience. He got something to do. I think he got hemorrhoid surgery that month. He got to get his nails done. He's got to get sized for his dress. His makeup's got to be good. So September might not be good for MJ, come to think about it. Yo, if that man shows up to that fight, I'll be impressed just with that. Because I know what awaits his ass. He's going to get rocked. What's MJ's real name? Ahmadalia. I can't pronounce that funny first name. That's why everybody calls him MJ. His name is Ahmadalia. Let me see if I can pronounce it. Morajan Ahmadalia is his name. That's the best way I can pronounce it. And if I'm messing that up, I'm sorry. But I think his name is trying to sound it out. Morajan Ahmadalia is MJ's real name. Yes. Talk about Inoue. Let's be real. Yeah. Bro. He's been around for a few years, but he's got 13 fights. What is he? 13, 10, and 1? He's 13, 1, and 10. Knocking out these cab drivers because that's what they are. Real talk. Straight cab drivers. Well, Randy, I don't know about that, right? But Casamero, John Casamero is a name that's slowly fading out of the headlines, ain't he? In this Naoya Inoue sweepstakes thing. He's not getting any closer, is he, to fighting Naoya Inoue? As a matter of fact, I haven't heard that name until you just mentioned him. He hasn't been a name that's really been and once upon a time, that was a real possibility. You guys remember that, right? Remember when John Casamero once upon a time was the champion? He wanted to face Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue was like, yeah, let's get it. Then John Casamero gets suspended, loses his belt, gets stripped of the title. And whose fault is that? Is that Naoya Inoue's fault or is that John Casamero's fault? You know, and John Casamero was very boisterous on social media and doing antics, talking about Naoya Inoue's father, him. You guys remember all this to try to lure Naoya Inoue back. But Naoya Inoue kept telling him, I'm not going backwards for you. You need to prove you're still on my level and you can fight me. See, the Naoya Inoue train was going that way. And Casamero had to catch up to him. He never did. He never did. So, and then his health in recent years was in question. He went through all that. We saw how he blimped up, how his stomach was. So, I mean, these are the prices that you pay. You must be a professional in and out of the ring. I had an interview recently, right? I had a special guest, Rachel Donaire, came on my show, and we talked about this particular subject about boxers being professional, whether or not you have a fight scheduled. You must keep a professional level to prove to the world that boxing is a high professional sport. Like when the basketball players go off season, they enjoy their little break. But during an entire basketball season, the basketball players are in shape for every game, ain't they? Boxers have a tendency of blowing up and being undisciplined in between fights. And we talked about this. And that's where these boxers need to keep their job title exactly and their way of life. They need to be a professional. Whether or not you have a fight scheduled, you must be in shape in the gym. You don't got to be like in fight camp mode, but do the Kobe Bryant way. You know what I'm saying? Because a boxer's career is year round. Understand? Your breaks come in between not having fights, but never relax. You feel me? So, keeping that professional standard to these boxers is very important. You know what I mean? And activity is very important. Now, as far as activity for MJ, in this fight activity, okay, you got some rounds in. But if I was your coach, I wouldn't have had you fight a guy like that for your next fight. The skill gap is so big. I think that had something to do with Tyson Fury losing to Usyk the first time on the low. Let me explain. When he went from fighting Francis Ngannou, making his first boxing debut, to one of the most highly skilled boxers, I don't think he adjusted well. I don't think he adjusted well. And I think that did something to Tyson mentally, the criticism of performing like that with a guy on his debut. That really took the allure out of that. You were the one of the greatest champions to ever live. Really? You're that great? And a guy on his debut did that. Didn't he drop you? Did you drop him? That's what I mean about going into a fight where the skill gap is too far apart. You should have fought another Japanese fighter. One of those fast dudes, good but beatable. Maybe fight one of them dudes. He didn't do that. He went in on a fight with Luis Castillo that hasn't fought since 2023. What year are we in? Shit, we're in June of 2025. That's not good enough. And it's not, well, if that's the approach and the game plan you and your team want to take, that's why I don't think he's going to make the Naoya Inoue fight. There's no writing on the wall that says, one, you even stepped up in your competition to prove you can beat a fighter like this. This dude took you 8 rounds, man. Are you crazy? Bro, put Luis Castillo in with Naoya Inoue. What's going to happen? He doesn't make it out the first round. That Luis dude doesn't make it out the first round with Naoya. Naoya Inoue has beaten and knocked out tougher dudes than that in 1 round. Jamie McDonald would have whooped that dude, Lewis's ass. He knocked out Jamie McDonald. Payano would have probably beat that dude, knocked him out in 1 round. He knocked out Donaire in 2 rounds. And he did knock Donaire out in the first round. 10 more seconds in that fight's over. Right? Donaire would destroy both of them at the same time. Just do the math. What he did last night, MJ, that means what? That means you might as well film the sparring match. MJ, you assed out, homeboy. You out of gas. I don't see it. I do not see MJ making the September date for whatever reason. Whatever happens, bro. Bro, I'm trying to tell you that I don't think he really wants it. I think all of this was a ploy so him to stay with the interim belt in position, so when Naoya Inoue moved up and he vacates the belt, he gets upgraded, elevated to that WBA strap automatically. See, all these guys, what they're doing, and they're hovering under Naoya Inoue. They're all fighting to, just in case when he makes the decision to move up, that they're the next man in line for the vacant title fights. That's all they can do. That's all they're doing. They're just bumping elbows, moving around, pretending to want to fight this monster. They don't want the smoke. Nobody does. Not in that weight division. Now at 126. But before we get to 126, I want to read an article. That, interesting enough, just in case you guys read this article or whatever, let's see, did I have the article back up? Damn it, I probably deleted it, I'm not deleted it, but moved on. But I could quickly find it. Let's see if I could find the Bam Bam Rodriguez article here. It was written like 2 hours ago. Okay, here it is. Okay. James Slater wrote this 2 hours ago. Boxing News 24/7. And it says, shit, my eyes. Let's see. Bam Rodriguez said it would be cool fighting Naoya Inoue in Japan. That's the headline. It's a fight that Jesse Bam Rodriguez has grown somewhat weary of speaking about. Himself versus Naoya Inoue. For though Rodriguez is still fighting at 115 pounds, this 2-weight clash lower. Sorry. This 2-weight clash 2 weights lower than Naoya Inoue Fans have been asking for sometimes, will he fight the monster Rodriguez? The WBC junior bantamweight champion wants to unify the division before moving up. The first step in this regard will come on July 19th when Bam will rumble with recent crowned WBO junior bantamweight champion Kofu. That could prove to be a good fight, and if victorious, Bam would then look for the other two belts. The getting of and the winning of these belts will, of course, take time. The BAM says that it's realistic that he will be ready to fight Inoue in another year or two. Speaking with Fight Hype, the unbeaten Southpaw with a 21-14 record say that when he does fight Inoue, he will like he would like to do it in the monster's home country of Japan. Another year or two, I believe Rodriguez said, with regards to when he thinks he could face Inoue up at 122 in Japan. It looks to it it would be pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of Japan. So to go out there fight in front of those fans would be cool. Be cool. Uh, a, a- but a cool reception is what Rodriguez would perhaps receive if he did challenge the Japanese superstar, ideally a hero in front of his adoring fans. Still, it would be a huge fight, a huge accomplishment if Bam did pull off the dan- where was I? It Bam did pull off an unbeaten. Bam puts up his unbeaten record, pound for pound status on the line against Inoue, who would be doing the same, especially if the fight took place where all the bantamweight and super bantamweight action currently is in Japan. Oh wait, there's more. But still, Naoya, but will Naoya still be fighting at 122 pounds in a year or two? There, there is, as we well know, talks of Inoue 30 and 27 moving up to the featherweight division. That after Naoya gets through his upcoming fight with MJ and then gets into goes into and goes into we all hope and all Japan super fight with Junto Nagatoni. If Inoue gets through all that, and if Bam meanwhile makes good on his goal of unifying at 115, maybe the two super warriors will indeed meet up early 2026, 2027. That can be a big challenge right there because, as you guys can see, the weight discrepancy. Bam wants to unify at 115, but will Naoya Inoue still be at 122 in 2 years? No one knows. Although ideally, I think that would be a great fight, a great matchup because I like Bam Rodriguez. I think he's very skillful. Unfortunately, I think they're might be a little too far apart. And the Junto fight would probably be the bigger money fight. Nick Ball's name is still in there for, potentially going up to fight a champion up there at 126. Naoya Inoue, let's all remember what are his options and what he could do if he wanted to. He's the owner of a WBO. Who has the WBO at 126? Espinoza. He could put in the paperwork at any time and make himself a mandatory to Espinoza. That's an option. He's not obligated to do that. The only thing he's obligated to do is to defend his belts. But that's a guaranteed ticket, if he ever should want it, to a title fight in the next division. So that guarantees him a title fight at 126. That belt. Okay? There are other options. Nick Ball, the WBA champion, is willing and has publicly come out and said, I want to fight you. And at the time, Nick Ball was the only champion in 126 that was headlining his events. Not anymore, as we saw Angela Leo putting in that work, making himself a viable opponent, and also expressing he wants a shot at the inoue fight. So there's a couple guys up there. Now, the only champion we have not heard call out Naoya Inoue, want the smoke, Stephen Kubo Fulton. He's already experienced that, my man. Stephen Kubo Fulton is saying, I'm doing something. Naoya Inoue's coming. Yo. Oh, Shazzy Foster, what are you doing? Yeah, I want to move up and wait. You know what I mean? Yo. Right? So, I don't hear him. I don't hear him calling him out at all. I believe that I think he just might move up. Stephen Kubo Fulton, I think he might go up to 130, right? So those are Naoya Inoue's options. These are some of the things he can do. Obviously, Naoya Inoue does not want to go down in history as a fighter that got stripped for his belt because he didn't meet his mandatory obligation. He's going to give MJ his opportunity. And I think MJ's out of there within 6 rounds. I don't think MJ even makes it out the 4th. I don't think so. But, Naoya Inoue has been knocked down in recent fight. He might be a little bit more cautious. He might be on the approach where that he has to break down these fighters before putting them away. And sometimes he can give 2 fucks about that. He can be like, nope, I'm going back in. That's what I do. Not shying away. Prove to me that you can be the one that catch me then. I don't know. But what I do know is I got Naoya Inoue in that fight. All day, every day, twice on Sunday. Take my money. You know what I mean? Here you go. My money's on Inoue. All day. Not changing my mind. I'm not betting against them. I tell you that. Yo, speaking of which, right? I'm sitting here. I'm just going through the motions on YouTube. I've been having a little bit of success here and there, real proud and shit, and doing everything. And then I'm looking back on my videos today, right? I usually don't want to do that, but I'll do it, right? So I'm like, where the hell are my Naoya Inoue live footage? I went to this fight. Why don't I got live footage? And I realized right then, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my bag. I'm looking at my other phone. It's like outside of the pocket. And I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, no shit. My phone had died. Remember, they made me lock up my equipment. I couldn't even bring in my camera or nothing. And I had recorded off my backup phone. So all that footage is on this phone. The broken one. It's an iPhone. This is actually a dope ass iPhone. It's like that one that was in the middle. A lot of people want to buy this off me, but I'm gonna keep it. And then I got my original, my phone, but this one died on me. So all the Naoya Inoue in the ring footage is on this phone. I don't know why the hell that shit didn't click, but I'm gonna be dropping out live Naoya Inoue with Roman Cardine, and we're gonna look back at it. I'm gonna play it. Wow, that really I'm just happy to see the man, But Look, I got footage and I got a lot of other stuff on that. I got to transfer it over. I'm gonna do so. So expect some footage coming out, dropping for Naoya in a way and shit. And thank shouts out to all my members. I see you guys. Sometimes I forget to shut you guys out like all the time. Like, you know what I mean? But I love you guys. You guys are the shit. Thank you for being a member. If you're a subscriber, I please be a member. You know what I'm saying? Support the brand. This stuff, getting out to these fights and stuff, it's out of my pocket, and I do this for the love of the sport and stuff. And I don't make much any of this, but I'm gonna continue to bring you the facts, the best stories, and I'm gonna try to get my message out there too and learn more. I'm always on platforms and things, just keeping up with the sport is a mother, bro. This shit is hard, bro, and but I get better every day. I get better every day. I'm learning more about other divisions, and I even gotta start getting my women fighting, but before I get there, I gotta get better with the men's and stuff. There's just so many new faces, people leaving, new threads, and you gotta be up on this. You don't wanna sound foolish, but I know for a fact, I can't tell you countless of reporters or the highest of men been asked about a guy and he said, no, I don't know about that guy. That doesn't mean that guy don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, we're not all fucking computers and shit and don't got the ability. Some people are. Some people are real good with that shit, right? But I never got up here and said that I knew everything, so I'm not held by that standard. You know what I'm saying? This is Round One Sports Talk, where we all learn together as a community. Please join the Round One Sports Talk boxing community. Thank you if you're already here. Don't forget to hit this like button. Come on, guys. Hit that like button for me right now. You know what I'm saying? And subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notifications inside your phone. Because YouTube is on that shit where if you only turn it on and they sometimes don't send you the notification when I go live. You got to do it in your phone setting and do it. So, and they got a tutorial on YouTube about it. You can look that up and it walks you right through just in case you're a little like, I thought I did it on my phone. No, not that. There's like 2 different steps to the notification now for YouTube. And if you're only doing one, you're not going to get my notifications. So fight fans, listen, what's up, Troy? You recently saw an interview. I recently saw Fulton talk about a potential matchup at 126. Actually, would mind if I would. You wouldn't mind if you wanted to see him defend his belt a couple more times. Uh, well, you know, uh, Fulton is good, right? And if I add a little bit more experience on Fulton, even add some more punches. I just don't think he has the power to keep Naoya Inoue off him at bay. I think that he might be able to have some more success with Naoya Inoue, and the fight can go around to 2 more or even to the scorecard. But I still think he walks away losing that fight. Yeah, Naoya Inoue also been in front of that guy. There's nothing like, you coming and fighting your opponent that you already brutally knocked out and stopped. So Naoya Inoue's confidence is even going to be that much more. And the fact that Naoya Inoue does not slow down, he's not slowing down. He's continuing to fight 4 times a year. So if they were to meet up, Naoya Inoue is going to be that much more better as well. If you're thinking that Stephen Kubo Fulton will get better 2 more fights or get better at, well, then Naoya Inoue is also getting better with every fight. And he's more active. He's just going to knock him out sooner. I would leave that man alone if I was Stephen Kubo Fulton, and I would go elsewhere. Travel different lands, bro. You've been conquered over there in Japan, bro. Don't go back there. Nah, it ain't nothing to see there, bro. Just Alte Loco. Huh? Japan? No. We go this. I think I see some over here at 130. Yeah, O'Shaughnessy Foster land. Yeah, pull up over there. Yeah, let's see what he's doing. Don't go backwards, bro. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not talking shit neither. I'm just talking facts. Y'all saw what he did to that man in Japan, right? Okay then. And yeah, oh yeah, Steven looked good here. Steven looked better there, man. He looks like he's improving. Did you fail to mention that the Japanese dude is also improving? Getting that much better? Hmm. Yeah. I think you need to leave that man alone. Richard, what's up? Edwin, I want to fight.com. Flakes. All right, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Alvarez, yeah. Check that out. Yeah, man. So fight fans, listen, guys, listen. Uh Naoya Inoue is definitely preparing to fight somebody in September. Not quite sure who's gonna be. There's rumored to be this guy named MJ, right? We'll see. We'll see. You guys know I'm a fortune teller on this shit. I've been right, you know? Um, it's in the eyes, guys, for me. It's in the eyes. Whenever I fought someone, he's standing, you could see it. You could see when a guy breaks. You can see sometime when a guy's bluffing. You could see it. And MJ's eyes never, and even that freaking stupid video he made, hey, oh yeah, stop ducking me. Yo, he couldn't, and the award goes to, bro, like, you acting, man. You is acting. I can see that. Yo, Neil, yeah, is that dude, bro. He gonna pull up. What'd you say? They just gonna scatter like roaches. Fuck out of here, bro. That dude is dangerous, bro. He's a real problem, Neil. Yeah, anyway, bro. He's a real fucking problem. I just need somebody to fucking come up and fight him, man. I was hoping it was gonna be Bruce Carrington. I had my fingers crossed. He's just not on his level, bro. I wouldn't put Bruce Carrington. And then Camille Moulton just fucking grew up into a man overnight. Like, he's already up there fighting 138, bro. You can forget about that. You know, the only guy is Junto and Bam. And I don't think Bam Rodriguez is going to do it. I don't think he's going to make the cutoff. I think Naoya probably already be fighting some super fights at 126 by that time. You know what I'm saying? And Naoya anyway doesn't have the luxury of giving up 2 years to fight Bam Bam Rodriguez. Unless Bam Bam Rodriguez comes across some growth spurt, you know what I mean? Then I don't know. You know? Mr. Miyagi with the 10 pace. Oh wait, let me turn this. Let me read this. Did you know for the Yi Yum Kim fight, Naoya's team reached out to both Alan Picasso and Price. Yeah, Ife, could make the way, and Picasso's team said it was his shot. Wait a minute. What Elijah Price, right? You made me think of a situation back then. You fucked me up, Mr. Miyagi, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, in the timeline when all that shit was occurring, right? When Sam Goodman was given the 30 days, that they had went and called Yi Young Kim that he was preparing for another fight, right? You guys remember that MJ had a fight going on during that time. Remember? Okay, wait a minute. MJ and them, he had already fought, right? And didn't Alan Picasso fight or some shit like that, right? How did it go again? That was the other David that fought, I think. And then what had happened in that time? Hold up. Let me look at it because I'm a real little thing when it comes to like current events. You know it, right? And sometimes I got to take in everything that was going on, just like you're saying. Just like you're saying, Mr. Miyagi. And that's how you can build to see who is fucking bluffing or not. Whether or not this guy was available, who is doing that, you know what I mean? So I always like to keep that shit in the back of my mind because it proves, wait a minute, you had an opportunity to fight him back then. And you did, and you did, and you were asked to fight him. Remember? Because when Naoya Inoue jumped over 112 and went into the 115, these guys started making videos saying Naoya Inoue was ducking the whole 112, Chocolito and all of them dudes, when that could be furthest from the truth. He really challenged all of them. He even did what Chocolatito asked him to do, to fight on his undercard. And he loses. You see what I'm saying? So all these events, when they take place, when they asked him to fight, when they asked him, because I was under the impression that they asked Alan David Picasso for the fight when he was fighting in Vegas, right? Alan David Picasso and his team denied the fight. Enters Rohan Cardenas, right? Okay. Now, if you're saying that he was also offered the fight back then, you know, look, it speaks to the dominance of Naoya Inoue. It really does. And it really shortens the view and what's really going on here. These guys are all avoiding him. They're all avoiding him. They can talk tough all they want in front of this fucking microphone. They're fighters. They're warriors. Who the hell's gonna say, yeah, I'm scared of shit of it to fight that guy? They're not gonna admit that, bro. They're gonna be like, hell yeah, I want the smoke. As soon as the mic, man, listen, text him back. Let him know I was joking. Text Naoya right now. Tell him, yo, they start off the conversation. Hey, Naoya, how you doing? I said a funny joke. I said I wanted to fight you on Hype Sport or whatever. You know, that's a lie. I don't. They don't want to fight that dude, bro. You know, so. They reached out to both, but Kim was the last option. Of course, Kim was the last option. Of course, he was the last option because they had better options in front of him. But you know what they said? On 30 days' notice, we ain't going to fight. What you mean 30 days' notice? Ain't you a professional? Weren't you in the gym? Weren't you scheduled to have a fight? Couldn't you drop that fight and go to fight this fight? A lot of excuses. That's all I heard. So and in the end, so that means he denied the fight twice. That means if he was offered that fight during the Yi Young Kim, that's one denied, and then he denied it for Las Vegas. That's twice. That's an undefeated fighter denying 4-belt fight. That's like when Devin Haney offered it to Shakur, didn't the whole world criticize him because I came out and said I would have fought you for a fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a chocolate milk? But did you say 4 belts? Hold on, let me eat this peanut butter and jelly sandwich. This is my payday, right? Because we fighting for them 4 belts. You ain't going nowhere. That's legacy shit right there. An opportunity to change your stars? What if you win? I'm willing to take that risk. Alan David Picasso is being offered a shot at 4 belts, not once, but twice. You know, I don't know. What do you guys see there? You know what I'm saying? Yo. You know, I ain't calling nobody. You know what I'm saying? I ain't, listen, you ain't heard it from me. Yo, listen, because we talk about fighters around here, all right? And Akmadalia, MJ, all right? He just took off to the witness. Bro, I said his name, he took off. Yo, listen, them dudes is ducks, bro. They ducks is like, but I'm interested enough to see where Naoya Inoue goes from here, if any potential opponents. And if Junto Nakatoni is really serious about moving up to 126 and challenging Espinoza, I'm really curious about that. There's a lot of power moves going on behind the scene, and I promise to keep you guys updated on all this. These bantamweight guys and lower weight guys don't get enough attention, I believe, in the sport of boxing. And I really, truly believe that they deserve all the attention in the world like everybody else if you're doing historical shit like this Japanese dude. You know what I'm saying? Naoya Inoue makes me proud to be Japanese. You're not Japanese. All right, but still, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That man is amazing, man. So look, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. Please hit that like button. If you already hit that like button, do me a favor, go make another account, come back, hit the like button again one time for me. Listen, fight fans, take care of you and yours. God bless you out there. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Alvarez, thank you. Everybody in the building. Shock Chasers, what's up, brother? How you doing? Frontline, everybody. Thank you guys. Yo, hold up one time for your mind. I gotta wrench up a couple people here. I be doing my shows and don't even be realizing because it be on the YouTube channel, but people are getting wrenches coming their way right now. Let me go up the ladder. Give a couple people that I've been meaning to let's see here. Where's my video at? Damn, I can't even get the video up. Here we go, right here. My mans. You guys rock out with me. Okay then. Where we at? Where we at? Alvarez, where you at? He getting wrenched up. Here we go. He is a member. Thank you for being a member. Mr. Miyagi, a member. Shouts out to the Round One members. I see you. We got Troll, the newly acquired wrench Troll. I like Troll. Keeps me on my toes. Real funny guy, too. All right, fight fans, listen. Tune in. Probably, yeah, we're going on Monday. We're gonna start these episodes off. I think I'm gonna do a 9 o'clock to like 9 to 10 or 10:30 show, and then I'm gonna go on and I gotta lock down on these time frames and start building it like that, and rather than bouncing around. I want to get 2 shows every day like that. So, fight fans, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving the video